there's 15 million-ish veterans living in the U.S. right now. Of that 15 million, only 10% are seeking the assistance of Veterans Affairs or the VA.
Correct.
Why is that?
The common answer that I constantly hear is veterans are afraid of.
So you're an 18-year-old father, no high school diploma.
Nope.
What are you thinking? Like, what's your future hold? How much does mental illness play a role in crime?
The amount of interactions we have from a law enforcement agency with people with mental illness is vast.
But do you think the respect for the law is getting better or worse?
Look, it might also help that I'm 6'3" and close to 280 pounds.
Yeah, when you got out of your Jeep, I was just like, oh, okay.
That could help. I mean, who wants to come up and yell at me? I mean, it's happened.
Say I'm deployed.
Sure.
I get injured.
Okay.
I return home. I saw a lot of crazy shit. I'm not doing great. Do I need to actively reach out to somebody for help, or does someone reach out to me saying, hey, thanks for your service. Here's some resources if you need help?
Kind of. The second one is true, sort of.
Welcome to Barbells and Bourbon, Strength in Stories. I am your big, bald, bearded, barbell lifting, bourbon drinking son of a bitch, Sean. And joining me today is Eric Crafton.
Pleasure to be on.
Welcome to our home, Eric. You had quite the commute today.
Yeah, no, coming from New Jersey all the way out here. Yeah, no, it was interesting. I love the sites here, the drive-through liquor stores and stuff like that. All the things you can't have in New Jersey.
So classy out here in Pittsburgh.
Last bastion of American freedom out here.
Oh my gosh. Well, I appreciate you being here. I know it was a long drive. I do really respect the people that drive or fly sometimes to be on the show. It makes me feel good that you want to be here, and you have a lot to say. You're here for a good cause, if you will. There's some great things that you want to talk about that you're doing in life. One of them is related to veterans. And I did a little bit of research, Eric. There's 15 million-ish veterans living in the U.S. right now. Of that 15 million, only 10% are seeking the assistance of Veterans Affairs or the VA.
Correct.
Why is that?
So there's a lot. So the common answer that I get on my end through the New Jersey Veteran Support Alliance, the nonprofit that I run, I started that about officially a year ago, but I've been working in the veteran space probably for the better part of a decade. The common answer that I constantly hear is veterans are afraid of applying because they think they're taking it away from somebody else that needs it more. Some don't think they're eligible when they actually are eligible. These are the common answers that I get. Yeah. And a lot of it is just they're misinformed or they're assuming something that isn't there. The vast majority of cases are, one, eligible. And two, you're not taken away from anybody because if only 10% of the entire veteran population is using these benefits, where's the rest of the money going?
Sure. How much money are we talking? What's the budget?
I believe, don't quote me on this, the last time I checked, I think the VA budget is teetering towards between $400 and $500 billion.
Billion with a B.
Billion.
That's a lot of money.
Well, they run many hospitals. There's the disability compensation. There's the hospitals they run. There's the contracted hospitals that they have overseas for veterans that live overseas. Different programs, but yeah, $400 to $500 billion.
So for those who don't know much about the VA, and I'm guilty, I'm one of them, what services do they provide?
It's a lot shorter to probably say the services that they don't.
Really?
But the most common one is probably educational benefits. You go to the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Space Force. That's a new one. Space Force. I'm waiting for that VA rating for a Space Force injury. I really want that first one. It's just something I really want. Not that I want to see anyone get injured. I don't want that at all. No. But it would be kind of cool to have a client that was in the Space Force. That's all. Just to have a first. But the most common one, I would say, is the post 9/11 GI Bill. People get the housing allowance while their school is paid for 36 to 48 months, depending. That's one of the great benefits that the VA provides. There's disability compensation. You get hurt while in service. You might be eligible for some compensation through there. VA home loans, they guarantee the loan, and you don't have to put any money down for the loan, and you don't have to pay PMI. That's one of the benefits. The list goes on. They're always starting new programs. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but they always seem to be creating new stuff. The most recent one that I believe that was created but didn't last was a program called Vet Tech. They wanted to see more vets get into the technology sector. So even if you had no more GI Bill remaining, if you had 1 month left, you were able to enter one of these tech programs, get the whole thing paid for, and have your housing allowance, even though you had almost no entitlement left.
Okay. So there's essentially 1.5 million out of 15 million veterans living out there. They signed up to serve their country, sacrifice time, sometimes sacrifice their lives for the cases that, they don't survive whatever deployment they're on or whatever. So why did you get into what you're doing? You're current active Army National Guard?
Yeah, I'm
correct?
on my way out, obviously, but yes.
Pointing to the salt and pepper.
Yeah,
in
salt
your
and pepper
beard.
beard and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm nearly done, but yeah, current there, and I'm also a full-time police officer in New Jersey.
Okay.
But that's where most of this started. So in the beginning, I happened to fall into it by luck. I got to my first duty station not knowing anything, but I knew I wanted to pull the trigger on some of my educational benefits because that's one of the main reasons I signed up for. Nobody knew anything about it. For some reason, nobody at the unit level could give me any guidance, so I started learning myself. Once people started understanding that, or once people knew that I knew how to apply some of these benefits, more and more people just came to me. So it's pretty much if you have the answers and you have good answers, people seem to just go to you. Then I started, but where I really got my first start was, I remember I was at drill one weekend, and I was actually in one of the computer labs showing guys how to apply for FAFSA and their GI Bills at the computer lab in the armory. A rep from FDU happened to be there, and me and him got talking, and I was offered a graduate assistantship right there, and that's kind of like how I segued into veteran services.
Okay. Now, the reason people get into the service differs for everybody. And I want to get to know who you are as a person. Now we have established what you do. You're a cop, you're an Army National Guard, you have a nonprofit, but I want to know what brought you to this point in life. So if we could kind of build out that story, get to know Eric for who you are. Where did you grow up originally?
So I was born in Florida, Fort Lauderdale area, and I moved up to Jersey when I was 10. My mom and dad separated, so I came up with my mom, my sister, and we went to go live with her mom, my grandmother.
Okay.
So I lived in Jersey ever since 8 to 10, roughly. Went into, started going to school here, grew up in New Jersey, and pretty much never left.
Do you have a healthy upbringing?
I would say so.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't get to know my dad that well, but I did have a lot of people around me that loved and supported me. I had uncles, I had my grandmother, I had my mother, I had all my family up here, pretty much.
How old were you when your parents separated?
I don't remember. I would say about 8. Like, it was around the same time as we were moving up here.
So at that point, did you have a relationship with him before that point?
I barely remember.
Yeah, I guess that is pretty young.
It's hard. I remember some things, but not a lot of things. But for the most part, from what I remember, there was no negativity as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, my mom and dad didn't work out, and they decided to go their separate ways on that.
And you haven't spoke to him too much since then, huh?
No, and he also passed away when I was 18. So that door is permanently shut.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Any siblings?
Yeah, one sister. She's 5 years younger than me. One.
So a normal childhood. Obviously, your parents separated, and you lost your dad at a young age. Do you feel now? How old are you now? If I'm allowed to ask that.
No, that's 42.
Do you feel like not having a father for so long has affected you in any way?
If it did, I don't know it. I mean, I grew up it was a very positive household, very positive environment. My mom had to kind of fill both roles of mom and dad. So, maybe something was missing in that, during that frame of time, a young man growing up. But aside from that, if I was missing something, I don't know it.
Okay. What do you remember about school?
I remember I didn't like it at the time. I did not like being told what to learn. I was not a fan of it at all. And probably part of the reason, so I never finished high school And that was in part the reason. The other part is I have a son that I had out of high school, so that was another reason I left. But I never really did well during high school, only because, I mean, at the time I was an idiot. I mean, I'll just call it what it is.
He
I was
said
an
it,
idiot.
not me.
And the other part of it was I just didn't like what I was learning. I didn't like being told what to learn. I wasn't interested in what they were teaching me. So either way, it wasn't working out. I eventually got my GED and I went to college anyway.
Oh, so you came back around.
Sure.
Okay. When you dropped out of high school, how did your mom feel about that?
Oh, she was pissed. Yeah. Absolutely pissed. I
But-
mean, between me having a kid at that young age plus dropping out of high school, she was absolutely pissed.
I mean, I'm guessing she got over that, right?
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to
Yeah.
I mean, if my son came to me with that, I'd probably be pissed too, so I can relate.
How old were you when you had your son?
17-ish, going on 18.
So you're an 18-year-old father, no high school diploma.
Nope.
What are you thinking? Like, what's your future hold?
I don't know. I was thinking one day to the next at that point in time. So at that point in time, I was thinking, all right, so I have my son that I made. I'm responsible for this. How do I make money to support the things that he needs? So I actually started working a bunch of part-time jobs to make full-time hours. And eventually I applied and got a job within the township that I live in.
Okay.
And I started working for Department of Public Works.
What kind of jobs did you collect during your young age?
Supermarket. I worked at a movie theater for a brief period of time. That was very brief. That was very brief. That job was horrible. Yeah, a few and odd jobs too. Any way I can make extra money, I was doing it.
But it built character, right?
It didn't.
Don't slam it down.
It gave me the inspiration to go back to school, to give it a second shot, because I didn't like what I was doing.
Okay.
So, but there was a big difference between high school and college. College, there's still a set curriculum that you have to learn. But you also have a lot of choice, what you major in, what your electives are going to be, stuff like that. So having a choice made me that much more successful because I got to pick what I wanted to learn.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the structure of forced public education.
No, actually, there's a school by me. There's a bunch of schools in the state of New Jersey, the VOTEX, where they almost get to pick what they want to major in at a high school level.
My daughter's going to one right now. She's doing like early childhood development. She wants to be an elementary school teacher, daycare. So, you know what I mean?
Career.
She loves kids, and they have all those options there too. So I think that's a common career path now with this generation, the young generation, is you don't need to get a college diploma to be able to be successful, make a lot of money, and find something that you're really passionate about. So,
I mean, looking back at college, looking back at my college education, it did prepare me for the career I hold now to a degree. But did I really need it to be successful in that career? I mean, it got me to write better. It taught me how to meet certain deadlines, show up to a place on time and turn in a good project, stuff like that. But is it absolutely necessary? I don't know. I mean, unless you were going for a degree involving licensure, like if you were being a nurse, if you were trying to become a nurse or a doctor or something that you need to be licensed in this, you need to know what you're doing, and there's going to be a lot of practical exercises to make sure you know what you're doing. I don't know if it's necessarily needed.
yeah, I agree. Yep. So as a young father, is the mother still in the picture? Like,
Yeah, for the most part. My son's mother, yeah, she's still around-ish. He's moved in with me, I think when he was about 12, 13. She had her hands full with a bunch of other stuff. No, I don't have any ill will towards that. She needed to keep herself afloat, and she has another child past my son. So she needed some help. So I said, yeah, I'll take him. So I became a single parent myself.
And your son's name?
Sean.
And how's it spelled?
Shaun.
It's the third time I've heard the name Sean spelled the same way as me.
Yeah, no. Well, when he was born and when she spelled it out, she picked that spelling. And I'm like, I never seen it spelled like that before. And now you're the second person I ever met.
I'm told it's the Irish way of spelling Sean.
That's what I heard too. But like I said, I don't know.
Well, we're on to something. I was named after Sean Cassidy. I know. I'm like dating myself. Well, this is way before my time. He was a pop icon in the 60s or 70s or something. Partridge Family, I think he was part of.
No idea. Do you know what? I don't know where his spelling came from. I have no idea. You would have to ask her that question.
Yeah. You said she was high as fuck.
Who knows? You probably. I mean, if you're pushing out a whole kid, you probably want to be high as hell for it,
yeah,
with the best that the hospital can provide you.
Yes. Give me the good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, no judgment there. You're pushing out a whole kid. It should be free reign at the hospital.
Yeah. So what made you want to get into law enforcement?
I think it really started when I went to college. So on a whim for a free elective, I decided to take Intro to Criminal Law. And I had a great professor at the time. He was a former prosecutor, very, very engaging, very descriptive. He was just a really good teacher. And ever since taking that one class, I decided I wanted to go into law enforcement in some way. I just didn't know how at that time. But that really started the path. It was the inspiration from one teacher.
Okay. Yeah, it's always very interesting to me. I've had a few guests on here that are in law enforcement currently or in the past. And it's always interesting why people choose that career. Sometimes it's they grew up in a really nasty neighborhood and, you know, they wanted to be able to serve justice as an adult or...
Like Batman?
Just like Batman.
Just like Batman.
Just like Batman.
Yeah, it's not like
I'm
Batman.
so glad you brought up Batman.
It is not like Batman at all.
No.
Batman constantly has action. We have maybe 3 minutes of action, maybe.
Yeah.
And 8 hours of paperwork behind it.
Okay. I want to ask you a question about Batman. Okay. Do you think he's a superhero?
No, he's a rich guy with a lot of tech.
Exactly. Having money doesn't make you a superhero. He doesn't have any superpowers, super abilities. I mean, he's intelligent, but yeah, he's just rich. I mean, he has everything made for him.
Actually, I have the same opinion, but reverse it onto another superhero, Superman. He's invulnerable, almost. Is a person that's invulnerable really a superhero, or is it Batman that's immortal? Can be killed, can be hurt, but still decides to rush into danger. I'll leave that to you.
Deep thoughts with Eric Crafton.
I know. I'm good for one or two during this thing.
So, fun fact, you might notice there's a Captain America display up there.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
I used to play Captain America for events, parades, theme parks, the zoo, birthday parties.
Okay.
I was Captain America for about 10 years. Good times.
How'd you like that?
It was fun for a long time until I got into my 40s. And I was older than all of the parents of all of the kids whose parties I was attending. And I started to just feel like the old guy dressing up.
Fair enough.
You know, so I retired.
It was time for you to hang up your cape.
Shield.
Well, wait, didn't he have a cape too?
The old, old versions.
No, I'm thinking of Homelander.
Yeah. No cape.
Really the wrong superhero to think of.
Yeah.
No comparison.
So what has law enforcement taught you? I mean, you went into this because a professor sort of talked you into it, or you were inspired by what they were telling you. But like, what has it taught you?
No matter how good a neighborhood you think you live in, there's always going to be problems that you don't know about. It's all the stuff you don't hear. Like, I'm aware of everything going around me, but other people might be walking through whatever township they live in and think, oh, everything's fine. But yeah, it's fine because you have a very proactive law enforcement department. You have a very good law enforcement department or agency. It's just amazing to me how most communities almost all have the same problems.
And you've been in law enforcement for how long?
going on 13 years now.
How has crime changed over those 13 years?
I don't think it's changed. I think some of the rules have changed. Like we have bail reform now, which, depending on the cop you talk to, could be a good or a bad thing. Like one of the things where I thought it was a good thing was, so you could get, when I first started, you could get a warrant for almost anything. There was one time I saw a guy that had a $50 parking ticket he didn't pay, or some sort of motor vehicle citation, and he was getting locked up for that. That even then I was like, we couldn't just give him a new court date.
Yeah.
That I agree. But you have people that are now repeatedly offending, and they keep getting out before even the paperwork's done. That's where it falls short.
Okay.
But I don't think anything has really changed crime-wise. I think it's more they changed some rules and made some common sense decisions that might have also had some adverse effects in other areas.
Why do you think criminals commit crimes? And I know that's a very vague question, but what drives people to go on the other side of the law?
All right, so over the years, I can only speak for myself. Other people might have other experiences, of course, but for the most part, I don't think the vast majority of people mean to commit crimes, or maybe they don't want to. Sometimes they're just desperate, or they snap. None of us are perfect. All of us are human. Like, I can't tell you how many shoplifters I saw stealing food, and maybe a few items for the kids, which, if you're desperate enough, I don't condone it. We still have to do our jobs. You will be arrested, but I can understand why they're doing it. I
can
get
almost
it.
relate to it in a way. Yeah. I mean, especially in this day and age.
Sure.
I don't know how people afford to live.
Sure. I don't get it either. But, the first thing that I was saying at the station house is, if did you apply to these programs? And I always tried to, provide some sort of resource where if it was an act of desperation and not just an act of, I'm going to get this now because it's easy, I wanted to give them something where they can leave with it and maybe apply it and maybe not come back.
Yeah.
Come back in in a punitive role.
Sure. How much does mental illness play a role in crime?
A lot. So the amount of interactions we have from a law enforcement agency with people with mental illness is vast. So vast where they actually started, and this started shortly after I was hired, where they started sending people to different types of mental health training so you could better understand them, know how to de-escalate, things of that nature. Recently, and I don't know how far back I have to go, I think it's been about a year, there was an incident where there was someone suffering from mental illness that was shot by a police officer in the state of New Jersey. And that incident mandated new policy involving barricaded subjects where you have to call a SWAT team in. And the SWAT team has to have a mental health counselor attached to it.
Wow.
To help talk them out, de-escalate, things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems like things are getting worse, and that's why I asked you this question. I think the actual number of violent crimes is decreasing over the last couple decades.
Okay.
I did read a study, and the line is going downward. I don't believe that.
It's hard to say, because what if it's underreported too? Not everybody is going to call the cops. Some people just let it go too.
Right.
So anytime I see a consistent going down, it's two questions. One, is that the real number? And two, how much of this is underreported?
Okay.
Because everybody wants that same statistic.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be the safe town.
Yeah. Is there a big difference in the quality of law enforcement between different towns and cities?
I mean, with the ones that I interact with, which is my neighboring townships, I think they're all pretty, good. I don't have anything negative to say about any of them, honestly.
Yeah.
And also the agency I work for, they took steps to become an accredited law enforcement agency, basically trying to meet some high standard to make sure that basically we're implementing the best practices for the agency as a whole.
Okay.
And that's where you see, maybe if you ever get an email from a cop maybe out here in PA or from New Jersey, if you have any interactions like that, you'll see maybe in their signature line an accredited law enforcement agency. That's something that started coming around in the last couple of years.
Okay. Yeah, I've been watching a ton of body cam YouTube videos from the various channels.
Okay.
And of course, they're only showing the really bad stories.
That's the only ones that are going to catch on.
Exactly. Like,
unless it's, I don't know, I guess it's human nature. Like, you can't turn away from a train wreck. That's what the people are drawn to, and that's what's going to be fed into you. Usually the most horrific things that we see. And I don't know if that's necessarily a positive thing or a good thing that it's out there like that. Because take it from your point of view. Yeah, from, let's say you were a victim. Would you want that stuff out there?
Absolutely not. And I don't know if they need permission from all of these people that are being filmed to have this stuff out there.
No, it's
public
records.
Let me back that up. I really doubt, because a lot of these people that are being shown on these body cams are doing really embarrassing and stupid shit.
Sure, but if you're doing it in public,
yeah, I guess, yeah, that's true.
There's no expectation of privacy at that point.
That's true. A lot of Karens are on those videos. A lot of entitled people. It seems like people aren't afraid of the law anymore, or they just don't respect the law anymore. And I don't want to make that blanket statement, but do you think the respect for the law is getting better or worse over the last 13 years?
I think it's about the same as it's always been. I think it's always been the same. If you talk to 100 cops, probably 90 of them would say people have a lack of respect for law enforcement. I personally, and like I said, I can't speak for the whole. I can speak for what I see in my own community, that it's about the same, because I live in a really tight-knit, everybody kind of knows each other community, and everybody's been just nice. I live in a very good, somewhat a little urban. There's a lot of stuff going on, but safe community where people are just respectful. And also the respect is also granted back.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to a scene and you're disrespecting the guy right off the rip, I can't blame him for flying off the handle. But it's typically a two-way street. It's usually the exception, not the rule, where they're disrespectful.
Okay.
In my experience.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like, I don't want to say you're lucky being in the area that you're in.
Well, it might also help that I'm 6'3" and close to 280 pounds.
Yeah. When you got out of your Jeep, I was just like, oh, okay. He's large.
That could help. I mean, who wants to, who wants to come up and yell at me? I mean, I mean, it's happened.
Sure.
It's happened plenty of times, but maybe I gotten lucky with that. It's funny, my police academy instructor actually said that. He took one look at me. He's like, you're going to be able to get away with a lot more mistakes out there than the average officer, just because of
your size,
how you look.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm the nicest guy ever. What are you talking about? You're describing me like some sort of monster. But
big teddy bear.
It worked out that way.
Yeah. Do you have a hard time disconnecting a day at work after the day's up? Like, you see some really traumatic and some gruesome stuff, perhaps. After you clock out, are you able to kind of set that aside, or do you take it home with you?
At first, it's tough when you're new. Absolutely. Because you're seeing stuff that you never thought you would be exposed to. Over time, it's gotten easier. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing, but...
Yeah, I guess you get desensitized to a point. Right?
To a point.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, that's what happened over the course of 13 years.
I think getting desensitized probably makes you better at your job, because you're able to focus more on the task at hand rather than getting inundated with all these different emotions.
Sure. And how effective would I be if I see something horrific and I'm the one screaming?
Yeah.
How good is that? I'm not effective at all at that point. You have to project some sort of semblance of calm, control, and stuff like that to keep, to have the confidence of anyone that's around you. If you lose that, God only knows what that turns into.
Being that you've been a cop for 13 years, if you were to do your career all over again, would you be a cop again?
Sure. Actually, I enjoy it.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would have wanted to try to do, looking back, that you think you would have enjoyed? Because you did drop out of high school.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, there's different aspects that I was exposed to in law enforcement that does interest me, like mental health. Also working in the veteran community. That's an area where I'm always picking at the brains of social workers and stuff like that to find out, why does this happen? Why is he acting like that? What causes this? So that might have been an aspect that I might have pursued if I took maybe that class instead of the criminal justice class. But for the most part, I'd probably do it again. I mean, I get paid a decent salary to see and hear and basically see stuff that nobody else will ever see.
That's a good point.
If they see it once in their life, that's a lot. I see it almost every week.
And you get to retire pretty young, right?
You can retire in New Jersey, you could retire. Well, ever since Chris Christie, it went into tiers. So I'm still tier 1. I'm a lower tier where, actually, I should probably put this out there. I worked at the township before becoming a cop. I transferred over. So I was able to stay at tier 1, which allows me to retire at 25 years at 65% of my final pay for life. Will I leave at that point? No, probably not. I would stay longer.
Sure.
Because I enjoy the job. Mm-hmm. But then there's other guys that have to stay 30.
Okay.
But still, you could retire relatively young, but for good reason. Do you want an old man showing up to a scene? I've seen it. I travel all over the place. I enjoy travel. And New Orleans is probably one place that I've seen where I've seen some old people, older males and females still working the job, and I'm like, how? Yeah. I can't figure it out, but they do.
They're not, they're not chasing anybody down.
They're not behind a desk either. I saw them patrolling around Bourbon Street during Mardi Gras.
They need all the help they can get down there.
I have no idea, but so it is a young man's game. It is.
Sure.
So, and I hear a lot of people talk negatively about the pension system, but then you have to ask yourself the question: do you want now older cops to show up that may not be able to handle a certain situation, or you want to keep it, within a certain age demographic?
Okay. Have you ever been in a high-speed pursuit?
No.
Damn. You want to be?
No, I do not.
That's a weird question.
It's a tough question because I can probably think of a scenario where I would probably want to, but for the most part, with most of the stuff I see where someone just speeds off from the cop, for me, it looks like more risk.
Yeah.
Then it's worth getting the guy.
It's freaking dangerous.
Like it's
two
not
two
worth
people
it
going over 100 miles an hour through city streets is
and by not worth it, I don't mean like I don't want to do it. It's more like I don't want to put
other people at risk.
Yeah.
Trying to get someone for a moving violation or evading or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. National Guard. What made you get into that?
I was going broke in college. I was running into debt, and there was a recruiter at my college. He had a sign up saying that they could pay off my college debt, and I'm like, you know what? For 1 week in a month, I'll talk to you, and I'll see what you have to offer. And there I went.
So did you go to, is there a boot camp?
Yeah, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I did basic combat training there, and then I did my job school down in Fort Bliss, Texas.
Now, what job did you end up having?
Truck driver.
Really?
Reason being that I picked it was I took off for a semester to do that training, and I wanted to get back as quick as possible to re-enter college. So I picked that. It shouldn't be, but it's the shortest school in the military.
Okay. So for those who are watching that maybe they have kids who are thinking about getting into the military, or maybe they're at a stage in life where they want to try something different, what different types of jobs can you have in the military?
There's so many of them.
It's like
There's
anything,
hundreds.
right?
They have people that specialize in cybersecurity. You got people that specialize in combat arms. The full the full breadth of it. There's infantry, Cav Scouts, etc. You name
medical, all of it.
Yeah. The list is vast. Basically, anything that you can hire somebody to run a city is pretty much something that would be part of the military, minus the infantry and stuff like that.
Yeah. Did you ever think that you were going to go into combat, or did you?
No, and I never did. I deployed once, but it was to the Middle East, but it was a safe. I deployed to Qatar. I was over there in the Middle East for a year. Okay. But I didn't feel like I was in danger, except we were right across from Iran.
Okay.
And they threatened us a bunch of times. That was probably the most danger I saw, them threatening to launch rockets into us. But aside from that, it was okay.
Yeah.
And the other time I was activated was during COVID-19 when we had the mega sites all over New Jersey. I was at one of those mega sites.
Just what, assisting with the sick or what?
So there was we partnered with different hospital groups. So Hackensack UMC was the hospital providers for that mega site. As far as the soldiers go, when I was in charge of a group of soldiers within that site, and eventually I was transferred to a facility called Veteran Haven North, where I was basically the manager of the enlisted soldiers on site.
Okay. And how old is your son?
23.
What does he do for a living?
So
Does he have a career yet?
Yep. He graduated from Montclair State. He has his film degree and he's doing film. He takes on different projects from different studios.
So he did not follow in your footsteps.
He did not follow my footsteps.
Do you think you turned him away from wanting to get into law enforcement or the military, or did he just have his own path?
He had his own
following?
path.
Yeah.
From an early age, he had a very artistic eye. He always wanted to create stuff. He was always into that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
that was the path he was picking.
So wasn't you coming home from a long day at work bitching about X, Y, and Z,
No.
and him being like, oh, well, I will never be a cop. It wasn't like that at all.
No, and I don't think, even if I had a bad day, I expose it to him either.
Yeah, that's not fair for them.
It's more like, it's kind of like if you hold a leadership position, you don't complain down, you complain up.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider that almost complaining down. Like that stress should not be put on him that I'm having a bad day, so I'm not going to expose him to it.
Do you think being a cop made you a different parent?
That's a good question. I don't know. All I know is I made a lot of stupid mistakes in my youth, so that was probably one of the main drivers that I had for my own son. I don't know if law enforcement had much to do with it. I think the same values I would have instilled in him either way.
Yeah. I just fear, I play cops and robbers in my head all the time, right? And of course, I'm exposing myself to all these reality TV videos. But I think I would view society differently as a cop. And not all cops are the same. But I think I would I would be bitter. I would be resentful because you're seeing not everyone, like you said, commits crimes on purpose, to be violent on purpose. Some are, struggling with mental health. Some are just desperate. Some are just looking for money. Some get into a bad situation because they're drinking too much, whatever.
Sure.
But I feel like I would, I don't know, almost look at society more negatively than I do now because I think our society needs some help.
True, but I don't think it doesn't get to me because I don't see them as bad people. In my mind, they're not bad people. They're people that make mistakes, but they're not bad people. They're people that are desperate. There's also people that, in the cases of mental health, imagine you're driving down the road and your steering wheel pulls away. That's how much control they have. They're not behind the wheel anymore. They're not in control.
Yeah.
So how much can you hold it against them? Somebody in that mindset. I would say the amount of people that I've encountered that you would truly call a criminal or evil has been very, very few.
Minimal, yeah. Are you trained to give people grace, like the benefit of the doubt? Or is that your personality?
No, that's my personality. So I still do my job. If you shoplifted and they want to press charges, you're getting arrested.
Yeah.
But my mindset is, it's not personal. It's just business. It's the job I took.
Yeah.
But, the way I feel is how I feel too. I'm going to do my job, but at the same time, I understand why they're doing it. I get it.
So if you're a criminal out there, that's the guy who you want to pull you over or run into because I'm
still going to ticket and arrest
so
him.
Nice.
That's still going to happen, but I'm not going to be a dick about it either. Do you know what? That doesn't help you either. Yeah. Have you ever seen, in your cop video searches, how many times did you see a cop being a dick and it worked out great for him in the end?
Never.
They escalate the whole thing. The guy, sometimes they even get attacked over that because you never get a 911 call because they're having a great day. They're already in a very high stress situation. So how effective do you think you're going to be de-escalating it by just going at them even harder?
Right.
No. And I go in, I'm like, and first thing I tell some of them, I understand why you did it. I get it. Listen, we got to go up and do some things. I got to bring you in. It's not personal. Maybe I can get you some help on the back end too, but for now we got to go through this process. And more times than not, it's gotten me great results.
Yeah. It does amaze me in these videos that I watch how many cops handle themselves so professionally under such high stress, disrespectful situations. Because I'm sitting on the couch like getting hot because I'm like, oh, how can they let someone talk to them like that, or kick them in the face or spit it like, and they're just like super cool and professional about it. I don't know if that's training or experience or what.
Well, sometimes you just get used to it. It depends on the person too. But for me, I don't know. If someone's disrespecting you, consider the source of that disrespect.
True.
You know, are they somebody that's really able to judge you?
True. Yeah, you're
looking
at
it that way.
Yeah, you're not going to take it too personally.
Yeah, that's one. It's just a defense mechanism. So I was an FTO for a period of time too, where I was training new officers, and that's kind of like the mindset I would tell them. I'm like, you know, someone's going to disrespect you. Someone's going to come at you. Don't let it get to you. Consider the source of information. You're going to let him bother you? Don't let it happen.
Good point. I think people need to adopt that mentality more as a whole, right?
It's helped me.
Yeah.
It's done great for me. It may not work for everybody, but it's worked for me.
Are you a people pleaser at all?
I try to help. So, and that's what started everything that I do. Like my mindset when it comes to criminal justice. Why I started the nonprofit. It was always about helping people that could not help themselves. And certain demographics of people that could not help themselves. Like veterans, I feel like, in my opinion, they earned it. So I always try to help out that community. It's not about pleasing all people. It's about, I would say, helping as many people as I could.
Are you focused directly in New Jersey with this nonprofit? Or
I've gotten calls from New York. I've gotten calls from people out of Florida.
Wow.
That's how wild it's been. I don't know how I got these calls, but I did. And I try to guide them the best I can remotely, but it's really impossible. I usually turn them over to another nonprofit organization that's down in their area, but mostly New Jersey, New York.
So the people that are reaching out to you, are they individual veterans that need help, or are they groups? Like, is it all a little bit of everything?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So individual vets typically need some guidance on how to accrue evidence for VA disability claims, which I have a whole network of different medical providers that helps them get that evidence. Because the problem with the VA system, it's not a problem, it just is what it is. You need two things to win one of these claims. You need a diagnosis and some sort of proof of service connection. That's how you win. Now, there's two ways to get it. One, it could be in your military medical record, or the other way that you could do it is by going to a private medical practitioner, and he could provide you what's called a nexus letter saying he has these injuries, he has these things, and he sees that it's more likely than not due to the military. That's another form of evidence. Finding a doctor that's willing to write that statement, because if they haven't heard of it, right away, most doctors are very risk averse. So if they didn't hear of it and it's out of their comfort zone, they will not do it. So I took all the legwork out from these guys and acquired as many medical professionals as I could that were comfortable with it and understood the process.
Okay. How many veterans would you say you've helped if you had to give an estimate?
A few hundred so far.
Wow.
Over the course of years, I can't give you a number.
Yeah.
I mean, just underneath the nonprofit banner alone, I would say a few hundred. But over the course of 10 years, I don't have a number.
Are you going to different events? Like, how are you getting your name out there?
So I've looked at two things that I thought the veterans would need. One was that guidance. The other area was access to cool things that that maybe they couldn't pay for, or you know what, they could afford it, but the money is better spent in other resources. So I always try to create a new cool event that's family inclusive where they want to come to me. They want to come out. And you know what? And if that's all they're coming out for, great. I'm glad they had a great time. So I try to give them that opportunity to go to something that normally they wouldn't pay for. And their kids, family can also have a good time as well. They get to be king or queen for a day, you know, where the kids look up and like, wow, my dad or mom must have done something really good to get all this stuff.
Yeah.
One example of that was recently I had about 75 to 100 guys at Stranger Things on Broadway. I was able to acquire 100 tickets for that, and that went out to veterans and family.
Wow.
November 9th, I have an event at the American Dream Mall. We talked briefly before this. It's a gigantic mall complex that has a theme park and a water park inside a mall. And we're getting a bunch of tickets to invite veterans and family out to that as well.
Wow. How many tickets are you going to be able to pass out?
we don't have a final count yet, but the last year that we did it, it was over 1,200.
Is this your way to show thanks for them serving their country?
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
I you know what? We both did the same job.
Yeah.
But it's more like they put their lives on hold. You know, they put their families on hold. They put everything on hold in defense of the country. I believe that they should have access to everything that's out there. No door should be shut to them, in my opinion. So I try to open doors for them.
Do you think the veterans get the respect they deserve?
For the most part, yeah. You know what? It's very hard to find someone that says that they hate the troops. They might hate U.S. policy. They might hate Department of Defense policy, for example. But I've never heard anyone say, you know, I hate these veterans. Those, I would say that demographic is very, very rare to see.
I meant more, do veterans get respect from the government, from this, you know, associations like the VA, as much as they deserve?
During election time, they do.
Yeah, of course.
During election time, they definitely do. Veterans Day, they usually, it comes down to the individual person. Yeah. So I've seen a lot of individual people, individual politicians, stuff like that, that bend over backwards to help vets. And my local community is like that. They bend over backwards to help vets. I can't think of a time where I wanted to do something for somebody. I had no resources within my municipality to help them. They've always been very helpful in that demographic. Other places are not like that. It all depends.
What's the oldest vet you've ever met?
The oldest, actually, that was recent. The oldest one that I ever met, that I had the pleasure of meeting, and he's still around, is his name's Peter. He's a 100-year-old World War II veteran. We actually got an email to the township saying that you know, he was turning 100 and they wanted it honored in some way. I did some digging, and I found out that he never. There's some state awards from the state of New Jersey that he was supposed to be awarded that were never given to him. So I contacted the state. I was able to get him all this stuff, and you know, we had a impromptu surprise birthday party right in front of his house where he got those awards, and we brought other stuff as well.
Wow.
But talking to him was awesome. Like, you know, just to hear it from the person himself, his experience during that time. I was in awe. He was an awesome person to meet.
What do you know what he did in World War II?
I know he was on a ship. Okay. He was on a destroyer, and after Japan surrendered, he was part of the occupying force for about 3 months when Japan surrendered.
Wow. Yeah, talking to someone like that, I'm sure he's got stories.
Oh, tons. Probably a lot that he can't tell me. Who knows? But no, it's an incredible person. Very incredible. Yeah. For him to go through that, actually see combat and reach 100 years old, you know?
Yeah.
I'm still, the whole day that I met him, I was shocked. And I'm still shocked by everything he told me, because I'm like, how did you make it this long? Yeah. You know, that you're in such good health, you're this and that. And, you know, yeah. And then I meet, and then, you know, looking at other vets too, he went through all that and he's in great health. But then in the other generational wars, there's a lot of people coming out with legit some really harsh issues.
Like, just because of what they were exposed to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that, they weren't exposed to that in World War II, and they went through hell. They went through hell. But then you have these other groups that also went through hell too, but, you know, between burn pits and everything else, they're coming out with a lot of issues.
I was going to say,
you almost expect it out of the worst, you know,
sure.
And I'm not trying to say which war is worse, but that was a bad conflict that he was a part of. You know, it was rough on the soldier, is what I mean by that. But to see him come out good, or, you know, a lot of people come out good, because everybody regards that as the greatest generation, because they came back guns blazing, went into business, industry, formed companies, went to school. That's where one of the first GI Bill, the first version of a GI Bill came out. And that was regarded as the greatest generation. So it's not that they just won a war, but they also helped build up a new era of our country. And then we go to our generation, and they were exposed to so much that I see a lot of issues.
Yeah. What's the most common injury or condition you see with the vets?
Mental health, hands down.
Like hands PTSD.
Down. That seems to affect a lot of them. that and burn pit issues. A lot of them come back with breathing issues, asthma, um, things like that. But
What's a burn pit? What do you mean by that?
so overseas, in some countries, they don't have the best waste collection policies. So what do we do with our classified material? What do we do with our stuff that we don't want to send to a rubbish dump where guys can dig through it? They dig a big hole and set fire to it with jet fuel.
Oh, that doesn't sound healthy.
No, and you're breathing all that crap in. Smoke travels.
And that's just to get rid of the evidence.
Well, I wouldn't call it
waste.
evidence. That's
Yeah.
I wouldn't use that term.
Yeah.
But they're getting rid of classified information.
Yeah.
Stuff that you wouldn't want in the enemy's hands. A uniform. A uniform can be deadly by itself if they got their hands on it. I mean, you can order some off Amazon tomorrow. So you're not preventing much, but you're preventing all you can. So some bases were in the policy of burning everything.
A lot of vets who are missing limbs and extremities and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. They made a better quality body armor. They made up armored vehicles. It did preserve life, but unfortunately didn't preserve some limbs too. So you got guys coming back with missing arms, missing legs, stuff like that.
What's a story that just sticks with you of a vet that you've met? Like, what's someone who stood out to you other than was it Peter?
Yeah, well, there was another vet that it started the whole nonprofit because I was kicking around with the idea of starting my own nonprofit for a long time. I was working one day and I got a call where someone got evicted and they needed help. I got a call from the lieutenant at the desk saying, "Oh, it's a vet. I thought maybe you can help him." And I'm like, "Yeah, definitely. I'll go talk to him. Thanks for the heads up." So I go meet him, and he just got evicted, didn't know what to do, and he just wanted help. So I brought him up to police headquarters, and when I brought him up there, my lieutenant said before I call anybody else, he wanted me to call the VA first to see if they'll take it because he thought it was the most appropriate move. I didn't think they would do much, but I figured I'd give it a shot, especially since he told me to do it. So the VA actually has a homeless helpline. I called that homeless helpline. I identified myself as an active police officer currently working, and I had, what I had. They then proceeded to give me a list of local shelters in my community as a resource. And that was the extent of the help that I received.
Wow.
But these other great organizations like NJSOS Stakeholders Group, Catholic Charities, they actually put them up in a hotel immediately.
So
they did it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a shame. Do you see that a lot with? I mean, was that strictly through the VA?
What do you mean?
That support.
Yeah, so the VA has a 1-800 line. They also have they have a few 800 lines. One of it's for emergency crisis that you could talk to somebody, which great program. More resources the better in my opinion. But they had that specific number was to their homeless veteran helpline, and that was the only resource they gave me. Something I could have Googled. Like if I was working on the job and already knew about the existence of those shelters, I could have Googled it.
Wow. So they didn't actually actively try to find a shelter for him.
Yeah, if anything, they slowed me down by waiting for an operator. If anything, they slowed me down.
So what happened to that man?
So he eventually got into, he got the hotel stay. Because I worked at Veteran Haven North, which is one of the veteran shelters within the state that's state run. I still knew everybody over there, so I made a call. I said, "Listen, I have this case. Do you have any available space?" And they did. They took him in, and he was living there for months. And then eventually he got a HUD-VASH Section 8 voucher.
Why do you think he faced eviction being a veteran? Is he just not getting the financial aid he needs? Couldn't he find work because he was injured?
All of it. I know he had injuries from service, and he wasn't getting any type of benefits from the VA, and he didn't know how to pursue it. But the beauty part about Veteran Haven North was they had all those resources underneath one roof. They had social workers there that could help him with his VA claims. They had VSOs to help him with the VA claims. They had mental health experts, ready transport going to Lyons VA Hospital if he needed any treatment. They took very good care of him out there, and then now he's on his own.
Wonder what his life was like before serving our country. Meaning, maybe he had a decent career path or was making a decent living, decides to sacrifice his time, possibly his life, serve the country, comes out injured and freaking homeless. Like, you don't see that being the end of the story.
No, you don't.
It shouldn't be that way.
But it happens a lot more times than you think.
That's a shame, man.
A lot of, like I said, a lot. I mean, you said the number before yourself. In the state of New Jersey plus New York, you have 1.1 million veterans. 10% of them are getting benefits. What's happening to the other 90% of them?
Yeah.
You can't tell me all 90% are good. That you can't tell me. So let's say it's 50-50. 45%, 45%, 45% is doing good. The other 45% are just out there.
Man.
That's a huge number.
So what needs to be done, Eric? I mean, you're doing your part.
Trying.
But, I mean, what else can be done?
It's a good question. Well, I could tell you where there was some deficiencies recently that disturbed me, where maybe they can improve upon. Like recently, about about 24 months ago, they deployed half of the state's New Jersey Army National Guard to overseas areas in Iraq and Syria. They come back home. They were looking for help. They reached out to me. They said, "Oh, I'm trying to reach out. I could use some mental health assistance, stuff like that." And I asked them, "Didn't you reach out to the VA? Because I know there's a whole briefing when they come back that you're entitled to VA health care for X amount of time when you return." And they said, "Yeah, we did try." They gave me an appointment 3 months late for 3 months in the future.
What? And that's their whole freaking job. The VA has one purpose, and it sounds like maybe they're not doing the best job.
But that's where I also got inspired to start this whole network of different medical providers, some of them being mental health experts. So the VA gave him an appointment 3 months into the future. I was able to get him seen the same day.
Well, there's only one Eric, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you need. I can't fix the whole country. All I can tell you is what I could do on my end.
Do you have
VA
people?
Definitely needs more resources.
Do you have people working with you? I don't
Sure,
want to say working
I have
for
a
you.
whole board,
Okay.
but I would say the brunt of it is taken up by members of my board, where they try to manage different aspects for me. And then there's the medical providers are really pulling the lion's share of it, right? Because they're providing the treatment, they're providing help on getting their disability benefits based in the form of evidence. So they give them the evidence they need, and they're able to file. So that gets them some assistance in that way. On my end, I'm constantly out there advocating, educating about our existence, and trying to link soldiers up with appropriate help that they may need.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's only one me. So what could everybody else do? It's hard to say. Don't give somebody a 3-month appointment in the future when they say they're in a mental health crisis. That might be a great start.
I mean, what's the loudest voice in this situation going to be to get to the VA as far as providing better support for the veterans? I mean, it's not people like yourself, or is it? I mean, is there? Is it a Congress thing? Is it like, what is it?
Well, if you could figure it out, you're a smarter man than me.
Yeah.
Because this problem it hasn't started now. This is a problem going back years. It's a lot of VA facilities do a great job. They do great work for veterans, and you know what? You could talk to veterans yourselves, and they'll probably swear by some of their local VA providers that they're doing a great job. It just sucks to hear when it doesn't work, or they're not prepared for an influx of people, and they fall short, like a 3-month wait for mental health. I mean, it's hard enough to get a guy to admit that he needs the help to begin with, let alone putting him off for 3 months.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. I can't necessarily say it's a funding issue, because they're already getting $400-500 billion.
I was just going to say the money is
Better
there.
allocation of resources, maybe tracking when these guys are coming home, saying, "Oh, we got like 3,000 guys coming home to the state of New Jersey. We might want to put a few more mental health experts temporarily even there, just in case something comes up. Maybe stuff like that, but
Yeah.
maybe they're already doing it. I have no idea.
I mean, that's a good
All
point.
I know is it does. All I know is that if they are doing it, it didn't work. At least in a bunch of cases I've encountered.
So, okay, say I'm deployed.
Sure.
I get injured.
Okay.
I return home. I saw a lot of crazy shit. I'm not doing great. Do I need to actively reach out to somebody for help, or does someone reach out to me saying, "Hey, thanks for your service. Here's some resources if you need help"?
Kind of. The second one is true, sort of. So, guy comes home. They have to attend, at least in the National Guard side. I don't know about the other service branches and what they do, but I can tell you from the National Guard side, they have a program called Yellow Ribbon where you attend this thing, and they basically kill you by PowerPoint with all the resources available to you. Now, I guess my question to you is, after 9 to 12 months doing whatever you're doing, you're probably only thinking about going back to your family or hanging out with your family or getting the hell out of whatever room they put you in to listen to your 12 PowerPoint for the day. How much of that are they actually absorbing? That's a good question.
Right.
So New Jersey and the National Guard as a whole does do a good job educating the soldier. The problem is, how much are they actually retaining?
Okay.
So that's one issue, probably.
Yeah.
That at least I've been seeing. But I don't even think it's that big of an issue with the state, because these guys did reach out for help through the VA. They did what they were taught to do. The briefing did work. The problem was, in those cases, at least the cases I encountered, which was a lot of them, the VA fell short and gave them an appointment months into the future. And that wasn't just mental health. It was other injuries that they sustained too.
Yeah.
And you know what? If one guy told me that, I probably wouldn't even have told you that story, because, one guy out of the thousands, is everything he's telling me accurate? I don't know. But I heard this from a lot of people.
Yeah. Are there local support groups for veterans, depending on the areas they live in?
Sure. There's a bunch of them. There's different nonprofits. There's different agencies that also help, not just veterans, but a lot of people. But sometimes that information just doesn't get into the veterans' hands. So they might not know that some of these agencies exist. Like my nonprofit spread, not so much because I was buying, let's say, Facebook ads and constantly plugging away. It spread by word of mouth.
Okay.
Word of mouth so much that I got a call from Florida.
Yeah. I mean,
oddly enough, and it was people that was frustrated dealing with some of the services that were already offered, like they weren't getting back to them or they weren't communicating with them, and they reached out to me in the end.
Is there going to be a point where you're biting off more than you can chew?
At that point, I hope I fundraise enough where I hire.
Yeah.
That's ultimately the thing. If it starts turning into a full-time job, then at that point you hope that you fundraised enough or you got a grant where you can continue, and if need be, you hire. Otherwise, then, there could be a point where you bite off more than you can chew. That could very well happen.
Yeah. So you're a police officer.
Sure.
By day.
Yep.
You're Batman by night.
Something like that.
You're still in the Army National Guard, so I don't know how much involvement you have there, hours per week, whatever. How many hours per week are you spending on your nonprofit?
10 to 15, roughly. I mean, a lot of it is either planning events, which is relatively easy to do. I mean, most of the events I do, the infrastructure is already there. It's all about spreading the word and see who wants to RSVP and come out. So that doesn't take a lot of time. The other points of it is referrals to different places to help them, to get them the help that they need or the treatment that they need.
Are you actively looking for people to help you?
I always look for certain volunteers, but the times that I need volunteers are sporadic at this point. But as I continue to grow, it's probably going to get to the point where I'm either going to need more steady full volunteers, or if not, I hope that I fundraise enough at that point to hire people to come on that can adequately, give full-time guidance on a regular basis.
So if there's a veteran out there or family of a veteran who isn't getting the help that they need from the VA, how should they get a hold of you?
Sure. So the best way to get a hold of me is you go to my website. It's njvsa.org. If you go to there's the tab where you have the drop down menu. There's a section, contact us. You fill out the form. It's your name, phone number, email, and a message. What type of help put in whatever type of help you need. Or even if you just want to come out to one of the events that I described, you could put that in there. And anyone that's there, I automatically save those emails in case, I have an event like the American Dream come up. I email blast it out to that group first. Oh. And we typically respond back within 24 hours or less. More times, it's usually the same day.
Now, do you have I don't want to say like a membership, but do you have like a subscription where people can just join your nonprofit to get announcements about events coming up or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. I never felt comfortable charging veterans anything.
No, I didn't mean like charging.
Oh,
I just mean like being part of like an email list or things like that.
That's kind of automatic.
Okay.
The people that reach out to me that want to be part of the events, I already save them to an events queue. And when I have like free tickets to Stranger Things, or I got the American Dream tickets, or we're doing whatever else, they're usually the ones contacted first, and on a rotated basis. Like if Private Snuffy got Stranger Things tickets last month, he might be the last called for the next thing coming up.
Got it.
So that way everybody gets something.
So you're already doing that?
Trying to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's already happening.
Yeah, good. Well, Eric, are you thirsty, buddy?
Sure. What do we got?
We got a lot.
What do you recommend?
Oh, man, that's a really loaded question. So, I mean, I'd say half of these haven't even been opened. What are you into? Do you have
Whiskey.
a specific... It's the best. Any specific proofs that you...
No, but you don't have my brand up here.
What is?
I'm basic as all hell, Jack Daniels. But,
Oh, yeah.
Or Gentleman Jack.
You're a basic bitch.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
You've come to the wrong podcast.
I wasn't raised right. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I suppose. I'll tell you what. In the honor of veterans and those who serve, let's try some Devil's Brigade. This was gifted to me by another veteran, Heather Edsall.
Okay.
She is in the Air Force National Guard currently.
That's why I should have joined.
But yeah, there's a whole story on the back of this bottle.
Yeah.
It's all World War II based. But she brought this from Montana. So we're going to have this.
Sounds good.
It sounds really appropriate to me.
I'm going to have to read that bottle when you're done with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I actually haven't read it, so cheers, buddy.
Cheers. That's good. That is good.
Is it better than Jack Daniels?
100%.
Good answer.
100%.
Yeah, it's...
Is that a wooden watch?
Yeah, it is.
That's...
What do you got?
Actually Omega.
Omega.
So Omega World Timer, but I love watches. That's why I caught that. So
this watch was
that's pretty cool. What is
sent
that?
to me by Original Grain. This is a repurposed. It's actually used as repurposed.
Wait a minute, I heard about them.
Yeah.
Isn't that the military company that makes the reclaimed ammo crates and stuff? They make it into a watch.
Yes. So
I've
they
never
have
seen one of these. Can I see this?
They have reclaimed military, reclaimed whiskey barrels, reclaimed beer barrels, reclaimed stages such as the Grand Ole Opry. But yeah, they sent me this watch. They said that they've been enjoying my podcast and they liked the theme. There's a ton of wood in here, so they sent me some wood watch. But yeah, this is super cool. Originalgrain.com. They're going to have a ton of holiday sales coming up. Christmas sales, Black Friday sales.
That's pretty awesome. Do you mind if I see it?
Yeah. They have necklaces. They have bracelets. They
heard
have
of them.
rings. Yeah, this is the charred whiskey watch. So yeah, go to originalgrain.com and pick up a gift for your loved one. They have all kinds of different options.
That is beautiful.
Thank you. I love it.
Yeah, I've always been to watches. I don't know why it's one of my things. And it's funny, like I looked into it. being basic bitch me, basically Rolex, right?
Yes.
First thing I wanted to go to. The place is a museum. It's a museum. You can't buy anything there. I tried walking into 3 different places, and yeah, I might as well have not gone in at all because it's a museum. There's nothing for sale. Everything is unavailable. At least with Omega, you walk in, you see the thing you want, you can actually swipe a card and buy it. So that's where I got into where I bought 2 different Omegas, but that's actually really cool. I like that.
I love it.
I got to check out their site now.
Yeah, even my my stepson, my 14-year-old stepson, I showed him this. He's like, "That's freaking badass." So a 14-year-old likes it. Are you chugging that, buddy? What the? I know.
I'm huge. That's not a chug. That was a sip.
You are huge. Well, Big Eric, we got one last thing to do.
What's that?
We have to arm wrestle.
We got to arm wrestle.
It's part of the show.
It's part of the. You know what? I missed this part of the show.
Did you? Barbells and Bourbon.
Yeah, but I didn't see the arm wrestling part of it.
You obviously didn't make it far enough into an episode because I always save it for the end.
Fair enough.
You already drank your liquid muscle. So as we arm wrestle, oh God, you're like the biggest person I've had on this show.
Yeah, but you're in shape. I'm like, I'm used to pushing pencils at this point.
As we do this, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
You have to think under pressure. Unless you slam me down, then there's not going to be too much thinking under pressure.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but go ahead.
Well, we're going to find out. You start whenever you're ready.
All right.
Go ahead. All right, Eric. What's the craziest thing you've ever experienced being a cop and or in the Army National Guard?
Building fire. While working my first week out of the police academy. See, I can't push you over, but you're not getting me.
That's good. We're good. We'll call that a dead heat.
So I just came out of the police academy. I get home from work, and I remember I pulled up, parked my car. I look up, and I see this big cloud of smoke. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. And then I got a call from my boss at the time, and he's like, yeah, we need you to come back. Gigantic building fire. It was like, I forget how many apartments total, but there was a lot of displaced people. It sucked. That was probably one of the craziest things I saw. And it was immediate. Right out of the academy, I'm seeing this stuff.
How did you, did your training like kick in immediately, or were you like, holy shit, what do I do? Like, what's your initial impression when you see something
well,
like that?
holy shit, I got to get back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got ordered to come back. I got to rush back. So I rushed back, got a car, got up there. But then that's where the helping people part came in, because at that point, the life was preserved. They're all outside. Now it was a matter of putting the fire out. That was up to the fire department, but basically dealing with the people. Yeah. All of them were devastated. Their homes, their home was on fire. And none of them were able to go back in the end. They ended up having to renovate that whole building.
So a lot of being a cop is learning how to be humane and just being able to talk to people and being able to comfort people. Not so much serving justice, right?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
We're like the Swiss Army knives of government agencies. They expect everything from us. But I say the 2 main core aspects of law enforcement or being a cop is, one, justice, Batman. And the other half of that would be providing calm to a really sucky situation, which that would probably be one of the suckiest situations you could have. That's up there, I would say, in the top 10 of sucky situations. Yeah. You want to go home. Think about it. You want to go home after a long day. You want to relax. You want to go to sleep. Now, you don't even know where you can stay that night. And then I saw a bunch of pets getting rescued out of there. That was wild.
Oh, I can imagine.
No, well, yeah, there was one pissed off parrot.
Pissed off parrot?
Oh, no, that thing was pissed. So the firemen were able to rescue all the pets. And inside one cage was this, I don't even think it was a parrot. It was a white bird with that, almost like a mohawk of feathers. Yeah. That type of bird, soaked and pissed off looking. But every type of animal was coming out: dogs, cats, a bunch of turtles, and birds.
So
a very angry parrot.
So everything survived.
As far as I
you know.
I don't think any pets died in that whole in that fire. Not that I know of.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep it that way. We're gonna end with a bright note.
Sure.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, Eric? Any questions you have for me before we wrap?
Well, can I get a refill? Was one. The other part is no. I got no other questions.
Good. And again, if someone wants to reach out to Eric, any veterans out there, I'll put his website information in the description box below this video. Please like the video, because why wouldn't you? Subscribe to the channel.
I'm pretty awesome.
It's very awesome. And I will see you on the next episode of Barbells and Bourbon. Peace.
Awesome. Good stuff.